Hello students, today we are going to discuss application of partial derivative. There are various applications of partial differentiation. Total, according to BCom Honors syllabus, we have 6 applications. This is very important from your examination point of view. The first one is demand analysis. The second one is a production function. The third is constant product curve or isocons. The fourth is elasticity of substitution. Fifth is Lagrange's multiplier. Sixth is applied optimization problems. Today we will be discussing demand analysis. We all know in order to produce a commodity there are various inputs required. Land, labor, capital, enterprise. But for simplicity, we assume that only labor and capital is required in producing a particular commodity. Suppose if L units of labor and K units of capital are required to produce P units of a product. मतलब P units product को produce करने के लिए L units labor और capital का कितना units K unit required है. इसका ये मतलब है कि जो हमारा production function बनेगा that will be a function of L and K, right? So this is known as the production function. And now if we take out the partial derivatives of this, we will get, that is, if we do delta P by delta L, that is marginal productivity of labor. Similarly, if we do delta P by delta K, we will get marginal productivity of capital. So it is also used to find out marginal productivity derivatives of labor and capital. The concept of partial derivative is also used to find out the nature of the goods. And now goods can be complementary goods or competitive goods. Competitive goods are also known as substitute goods. अब हम ये देखते हैं कि complementary goods होते क्या हैं. आपने इकोनॉमिक्स में किया है कि complementary goods क्या होते हैं, right? Complementary goods किस तरह के goods हैं? Two commodities are said to be complementary if an increase in the price of one of them causes a decrease in the demand for the other. Condition क्या है? Provided the price of the other commodity is held fixed, right? It means, let us take the example of petrol and car. इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर एक commodity का दाम बढ़ेगा, अगर पहला commodity मान लेते हैं पेट्रोल है, इसका दाम बढ़ेगा तो दूसरे commodity का डिमांड पे असर होगा. इसका मतलब कार का जो डिमांड है वो घटेगा. Only on the condition कि कार का जो प्राइस है वो फिक्स होना चाहिए. It doesn't change. Such type of goods are known as complementary goods. It means two commodities X1 and X2 are complementary if and if only delta X1 by delta P2 and delta X2 by delta P1 both are negative. Let us understand this. Delta X1 by P2 इसका क्या मतलब है? इसका ये मतलब है कि what is the percentage change in quantity demanded of the first commodity? कि due to change in the price of the other. इसका मतलब ये है कि पेट्रोल की क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड में कितना परसेंटेज चेंज होगा अगर कार का दाम चेंज हो रहा है तो. और what does this mean? What will be the effect? What will be the percentage change in quantity demanded of X2, that is car, if the due to change in price of the petrol, right? It should be both negative, right? Let us move to what are substitute and competitive goods. Two commodities are said to be substitute goods if an increase in price of one of them causes an increase in the demand for the other. provided the price of the other commodity is held fixed. Example is tea and coffee. कहने का ये मतलब है कि अगर टी का दाम बढ़ जाता है तो अगर टी का दाम बढ़ेगा तो कॉफी पे क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा? टी महंगा हो जाएगा तो लोग कॉफी ज्यादा पियेंगे, तो टी का डिमांड बढ़ेगा। हम इसका प्राइस देख रहे हैं और इसका डिमांड देख रहे हैं, ओनली ऑन द कंडीशन कि कॉफी का दाम is held constant. X1 and X2 are competitive if and if only delta X1 with respect to P2. You always have to note this. This is delta X1 by delta P2. It's not P1. And delta X2 by delta P1. It is not delta X2 by delta P2. It means these both partial derivatives should be positive. Right? Now, we move to the concept of partial marginal demand. Partial marginal demand. Let us take here two commodities which are related to each other. This is, let X1 and X2 be two related commodities, or you can say A and B. Right? There are two commodities A and B. Both are related to each other. इसका कहने का ये मतलब है कि A का जो डिमांड है वो इसके खुद के भी प्राइस पे डिपेंड कर रहा है और B के प्राइस पे भी डिपेंड कर रहा है, और B का जो डिमांड है वो इसके खुद के प्राइस पे डिपेंड कर रहा है और A के भी प्राइस पे डिपेंड कर रहा है। राइट? इसका मतलब ये है कि जो डिमांड फंक्शन बनेगा, मतलब एक कमोडिटी का जो डिमांड फंक्शन है, जो क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड है X1, let us take this as X1. This will be a function of prices, a function of price of itself as well as the price of the commodity B. उसी तरह X2 जो है quantity demanded, that will also a function of the price of the first commodity as well as its own price. Right? So we see that X1 is a function of P1 and P2. It means this can be differentiated two times. Marginal derivative, one with respect to its own price and the other with respect to the price of the other commodity. Again, this function can also be differentiated two times. That is, one with respect to its own price P2 and second with respect to the price of the first commodity, that is P1. Right? Now let us move to this partial marginal demand of X1 with respect to P1, that will be delta X1 by delta P1. You know P2 will be fixed. Now again, partial marginal demand for X1 with respect to P2, that is delta X1 by delta P2. Here P1 will be fixed. Now partial marginal demand for X2 with respect to P1. X2, this one, this function. Right? Then it will be delta X2 by delta P1. P2 will be fixed. We are differentiating with respect to P1. P2 will be fixed. Again, partial marginal demand for X2 with respect to P2. Delta X2 by delta P2. Then P1 will be fixed. Right? This is the question now. Let us move to the question. This is the question. We are provided with the demand function for two commodities. The demand function for two commodities X1 and X2 are given by X1 is equal to 100 by P1 square into P2 and X2 is equal to 50 by P1, P2 square respectively. What is the question asking you to do? Find the four partial marginal demand function. This portion, what we did just now, right? Also determine whether X1 and X2 are complementary or competitive good. That also we did just now, right? It means we have to find out the partial derivatives four times. This is the function. This is the commodity X1, right? This function will be differentiated twice. Delta X1 by delta P1 one time and again delta x1 by delta p2, the second partial derivative. This function x2 is equal to 50 by p1 into p2 square. Again, this will be differentiated with respect to p1 once and with respect to p2 second time. So we have total, you can see, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now we differentiate it. Delta x1 by delta p1. So what will be the answer? Minus 200 by p1 cube into p square. You have to differentiate it. Right? And delta x1 by delta p2. This is equal to minus 100 by p1 square into p2 square. Over here we differentiated delta x square by delta p1 minus this, you have to differentiate this one. This is the function, right? Minus 50 by p1 square into p2 square, and delta x2 by delta p2 is minus 100 by p1 into p2 cube. Now we have to find, we got the first portion of the answer, first portion of the question, we completed the solution. The second portion is you have to find out whether x1 and x2 are complementary or competitive. Let us find out. See, since p1 and p2 represent prices, they are both positive. Hence delta x1 by delta p2 and delta x2 by delta p1 are both negative. Hence x1 and x2 are complementary goods. It means both are complementary goods. How do we see this? Why? We have to see the change in quantity demanded, right, with respect to the price of the other quantity over here. Okay? And over here we have to see the change in quantity demanded of x2 with respect to the price of the first commodity. Then only we can conclude. Right? See, these both are negative, and the test for complementary goods are that delta x1 by delta p2 and delta x2 by delta p1, they both should be negative, and we find here they both are negative. Right? We do not have to see with respect to its own price, you have to remember this, but with respect to the prices of the opposite commodities. Right? Okay. We move to the demand function of two commodities x1 and x2 are x1 is equal to p1 to the power minus 1.4 and p2 to the power 0.6. You have to note that the demand function of x1 is given both in terms of p1 and p2. It means खुद के प्राइस के टर्म्स में दिया हुआ है और दूसरे कमोडिटी के प्राइस के टर्म्स में दिया हुआ है. Similarly, यहाँ पर भी x2 is equal to p1 to the power 0.5 and p2 to the power minus 1.2. जो कमोडिटी x2 है उसका भी डिमांड फंक्शन जो है p1 and p2 के टर्म्स में दिया हुआ है. Right? What the question tells you to find? Find the 4 marginal elasticities of demand and determine whether commodities are competitive or complementary. जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन हमने किया वहां पे हमें निकालना था marginal, partial marginal demand, and यहाँ पे you have to find out 4 partial elasticities of demand. You already have done the concept of elasticity, right? ठीक है? Now, what are the 4 partial elasticities of demand? This is come to the concept. This is what we have to calculate. Eta 11, right? First we have to calculate delta x1 by delta p1 into p1 by x1. It means we have to calculate delta x1 by p1, right? Also eta 12. This is cross partial elasticity of demand of x1. This is 1 is x1 and 2 is with respect to the price of the other commodity. So this will be delta x1 by delta p2 into P2 by X1. Similarly, you will have eta 21 and eta 22, right? We will see that in the next slide, right? It means we have to calculate delta x1 by p1, delta x1 by p2, right? So we move to the calculation of first the partial derivatives, the four partial derivatives. Here we have calculated this. Delta x1 by p1 is equal to, what we do here, p2 remains constant over here, right? So the differentiation will be minus 1.4 p1 to the power minus 2.4 p2 to the power 0.6. You know the differentiation. Then with respect to p2 we will do, over here p1 will be constant, you differentiate it, right? Over here p2 was constant, so this will be 0.6 p1 to the power minus 1.4 p2 to the power minus 0.4. We come to the second function that is given. Over here we'll calculate the two partial derivatives, that is with respect to p1 and then with respect to p2. Delta x2 by delta p1 is equal to 0.5 p1 to the power minus 0.5 p2 to the power minus 1.2. Over here delta x2 by delta p2 is equal to minus 1.2 p1 to the power 0.5 and p2 to the power minus 2.2. We have done the basic steps. Now we need to calculate the four partial elasticities of demand. We put these things into this formula, right? When we differentiate with respect to its own price, right, and you multiply by its own price and then by x1, this is known as direct partial elasticity of demand of x with respect to p1. And when we do this, delta x1 by delta p2 into p2 by x1, this is known as cross partial elasticity of demand. Now we come here for the calculation. Let p1 be as it is. We are writing everything in terms of px1. The function given over here was this, so we write this over here, p1 to the power minus 1.4 p2 to the power 0.6, and then what we calculated in the above steps, that is delta x1 by delta p1. This is the answer over here, right? We write this one over here. Now you see this and this get cancelled, right? Now p to the power it's 1 and this power will get added, so this becomes p to the p1 to the power minus 1.4. This also get cancelled, this get cancelled, and what remains is minus 1.4. Similarly we calculate over here. Let p2 as it is in the formula, write x1 in terms of the price, p1 and p2. This is what we calculated above, this one, right? So you calculate and you get the answer as 0.6 as the cross elasticity of demand, right? Now for the next function we calculate the direct and the cross partial elasticity, right? So this is the cross partial elasticity. This is not direct. The cross partial elasticity of demand x2 with respect to p1, right? This is p1 by x2 into delta x2 by delta p1. Okay, this is cross partial elasticity. Why? Because we are differentiating x2 with respect to p1. Write p1 as it is. Write the function over here. What we calculated before, your answer comes to be 0.5. Right? Now we calculate, this is direct partial elasticity. It's not cross. This is direct partial elasticity of demand of x2 with respect to p2. This will be what? with respect to P2. So this will be delta X2 by delta P2, right? And then we multiply here by P2 into delta X2 by delta P2, P2 by X2. You write the function, you write P2 as it is, the function over here, and the answer we got, which we calculated for this delta X2 by delta P2, you get the answer is minus 1.2. Now the question asks you to find out whether the commodities are competitive or complementary. Whether the commodities are competitive or complementary. So you need to see whether eta 1, 2 and eta 2, 1 are both negative or positive. Since this eta 2, 1, this is 0.5 and eta 1, 2. What was the answer for that? 0.6, right? These both are positive, so they are competitive goods. Okay, we did the test in the previous slides for competitive and substitute goods. Now the next question is, given the demand function for two commodities as Q1 is equal to 2000 plus 400 by P1 plus 3 minus 50 P2 and Q2 is equal to 2000 minus 100 P2 plus 500 by P1 plus 4. You have to find the nature of the commodities and calculate the four partial elasticities of demand at P1 is equal to 5 and P2 is equal to 1. This at P1 is equal to 5 and P2 is equal to 1. This is something new in your question. You know how to calculate this, right? This is the solution. You calculate. This is the equation. This was the function given to you. You calculate for Q1. Q1 is given in terms of P1 and P2. So you calculate delta Q1 by delta P1 and also you calculate delta Q1 by delta P2. When you differentiate this, you get minus 400 by P1 plus 3 square. What you do here? P2 is constant over here, right? P2 will be constant over here, right? Now delta Q1 by delta P2. So over here P1 will be constant. You know how to differentiate this. This will become 0, right? This will become 0 and this will be minus 50. Now you have the next function. Again you find out the two partial derivatives, that is delta Q2 by P1 with respect to P1, then delta Q2 by P2 with respect to P2. You calculate, you get the answers in this way, right? You have just calculated the four partial derivatives, but the question asks you to find out the four partial elasticities of demand. Elasticities of demand, right? Now you see that delta Q1 by delta P2 is minus 50, right? And this is delta Q2 by delta P1 is also minus 500 by P1 plus 4 to the power 2. These both are negative, right? So the goods are complementary. Now we come to the calculation of four partial elasticities, right? You put these into the formulas. Accordingly, you got the four results over here. This 1, this 2, this 3, this 4. You will be calculating the four partial elasticities. Now eta 1, 1 you calculate. You know the formulas now, right? P1 as it is, Q1, write the function over here, whatever the function is given in the question. Write over here delta Q1 by P1, whatever you got over here, write this answer now. And in the question it was given that, what did the question ask for? The question asked for that P1, when P1 is equal to 5 and P2 is equal to 1. Now put P1 is equal to 5. This is 5 plus 3. This will be 8, right? And P2 is equal to 1. So this will be 50. Now what you will do over here? This again P1 is equal to 5 plus 3, that is 8 square 64. You simplify, you will get minus 1 by 64. This is eta 1 1 calculation, right? The out of the 4 partial elasticities we calculated one, we are left. Now the cross partial elasticity, right? That was direct partial elasticity. Cross partial elasticity of Q1 with respect to P2. You know the formula already, right? Okay. What was the value of P1? P1 was 5. You write as P2 it is. Now Q1 as it is over here. Delta Q1 by P2 we got as minus 50, right? This is P1 to P1 was given as 1. You write 1 over here. P2 was given as 5. So 5 plus 3, this will be 8. Sorry, this I wrote wrong. So this will be 8, right? Now this will be, this comes out to be 50. Okay? You cancel this, you cancel this. So niche you are left with 2000, right? You are left with 2000. Now when you cancel this, your answer will be minus 1 by 40. Similarly, for the next function, you have to also calculate direct partial elasticity with of Q2 with respect to P2 and cross partial elasticity of Q2 with respect to P1. You do the same process, you get the answer as minus 9 by 176 and you get the answer as minus 25 by 1584. This is where the question ends, right? Thank you for watching. We will discuss the next applications in the coming videos. For the time, please do practice from your book.